afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Judy Simpson. Agriculture consistently ranks as one of the nation's most dangerous occupations. According to federal statistics, more than 200 farm workers nationwide are injured every day, and about 5% of those injuries result in a permanent disability. In Vermont, farmers sustain disabling injuries in work-related accidents, illness, and other chronic health conditions. Joining me this afternoon is George Cook with the University of Vermont Extension. For more than 30 years, George has worked directly with farmers and their families on safety issues. And when things do go wrong, George has been there to ensure that farmers get the support and assistance they need to help them stay in farming. It's great to see you again.
Thanks for having me here, Judy.
Now, when it comes to farming and disabilities, UVM Extension offers the Vermont AgrAbility Project. What is that?
Vermont AgrAbility Project is a program that assists farmers, farm families, veteran farmers who may have some sort of a disability. And this can be anything that we might imagine, from the low back pain that we all recognize to something much more debilitating that may have impaired their ability to walk and to do the kinds of things that we take for granted doing every single day of our lives.
And so who's eligible for AgrAbility and what kinds of services does it provide?
Well, anyone that has a disability, an acquired disability, it may be something actually that they were born with, but it's something that interferes with them doing their daily work in a safe, efficient manner. And we're looking at situations that maybe have changed over time, and so many times we have people say, well, gee, I didn't think it was bad enough yet. Well, it's a whole lot easier to work with someone before things get bad. So if you think you know of someone or have a situation yourself, contact us.
So it can be different physical conditions as well, things like arthritis or even a spinal cord injury?
Oh, absolutely. Some of the more common ones, as I mentioned, low back pain, arthritis, joint pain, a lot of different joints. It can certainly be something much more, intense, cerebral palsy, MS. There are a number of diseases that someone might acquire as time goes on that will interfere with their ability to do the kinds of chores that are needed by them on the farm on a daily basis.
So why is UVM Extension the right fit to provide these kinds of services?
Well, I think Extension is an excellent outreach mechanism for getting information out to folks. Education is our business, and we work with farmers on so many different things. Extension has long been an active piece of the information education program processes that farmers work with. And so I think it's a hand in glove situation. It just works well, and we have the people out there that understand farming, understand the farmers' needs.
Are farmers sometimes reluctant to ask for help?
Oh, quite often, yes. As I said, it's so much easier to work with someone early on if there's this developing situation. Let us work with you. Let us help find other ways of doing things, looking at other sources of information. We do a lot of referrals with other organizations that can assist, and it certainly is much more efficient for them, better for us, if we can get started earlier rather than later.
And so obviously these farmers want to stay farming.
That's the number one response that you'll get anytime you talk with someone, especially if it's a new acquired disability. Maybe they got injured and they just want to continue to farm. They want to continue to do their job, do what they love to do. They've wanted to do this all their lives and pretty much expect to do it probably till the day they die.
And so if there is a problem, you're the one who finds the solution.
Yes, we work with a lot of other organizations. We're partnered with the Vermont Center for Independent Living, and that has been a requirement of the AgrAbility grants all these years, is that every state project has a disability partner. And for the last 8 years, we've been working very closely with the Vermont Center for Independent Living. And you know, they have avenues, they have access to information and programs that we in Extension don't. So it makes a good partnership.
Good. Perfect. Well, in July, AgrAbility hosted a field day. What was the field day all about?
The field day was on the farm of a farmer with a disability. We've worked with Lee Cahart for many, many years. It was in West Addison. And this was to open the door of the farm for people to come and you know, share information about farming with disabilities, to meet other people that had disabilities that we're working with. Even if you don't have a disability, we encourage all farmers. And there were a lot of other folks along with us to share information, materials, tools, equipment, just new ideas for continuing to do your job, work on the farm, and do it safely and perhaps with a little less pain.
All right. Well, across the fences, Rebecca Gollin was at the AgrAbility Field Day, and she spoke with George and others about the event and what the AgrAbility program can offer to Vermonters with disabilities.
This is the second Vermont AgrAbility Field Day, and the 2015 Field Day is here in West Addison at the Cahart Brothers Farm. And we are visiting with folks about farming with disabilities. There are a lot of vendors here that are showing off their wares as far as sometimes information or gadgets or things that people can use to help farm, no matter what you know, disability they might be facing, be it mobility or hearing or visual. The purpose of the AgrAbility Field Day is to bring information out to farmers, whether they're farmers with disabilities or not. All of us can learn from one another, learn how to farm more efficiently, more safely, more comfortably. And a lot of the information that we share with folks as far as those that have a disability of some sort, it's very apropos for everyone else as well. You don't have to have a situation that is interfering with your doing your work in order to take good benefit of this. And this is a lot of educational information, practical hands-on information that the Vermont AgrAbility Project has pulled together. And the Vermont AgrAbility Project is one of 22 state-funded programs across the country, and we are in partnership with the Vermont Center for Independent Living.
We have a number of support groups around the state. Vermont Center for Independent Living works with anybody with a disability. We're a peer advocate for them. We look into their civil rights. We look into access to buildings, that type of thing. We receive all kinds of calls about getting out of the nursing home or out of the hospital, out of a rehab center. They need a ramp to go be installed before they can come home. Our home access program has the means of installing a ramp, building a ramp. We have means to do a bathroom modification for the peer. So those are kind of some of our programs. We have peer counselors. We'll go to the house or wherever and meet with the individuals, and they set a goal and we help them achieve that goal, whatever that goal might be. A newly acquired person, we will hook them up with someone like the Caharts here in West Addison that have lived through and experienced this type of thing. So one of my jobs with the project is peer support, and I do a peer support program one-on-one, which I would match somebody with the Cahart. I would match somebody with Martin Pike. These people are here, and they would work on them one-on-one. I've had Martin Pike go to the hospital and visit somebody that just had an amputation. That happens quite regularly.
The goal is the same everywhere, and that is to get farmers back on the farm if they've had to leave, help them to continue to do the job that they thoroughly love to do. Perhaps we can help them with some referrals to do it easier, safer, more comfortable, with less discomfort. One of the most common issues that any farmer around here will have is arthritis, low back pain, joint pain. If we can help, fix some of that, sometimes it's as simple as putting an extra step on the bottom of a tractor step so that you don't have to lift the foot as high to get up on there. And then a more comfortable seat once you get there is nice too.
And then
what does your company offer people?
we offer them a chance to get back to work, get back to doing what they love to do. That's the rewarding part of it. To see a gentleman or a young lady who's involved in the agricultural industry, maybe they've had a debilitating accident or a disease that's caused some issues getting in and out of their equipment. So to be able to give them an avenue to pursue the dreams that they really want to pursue, do what they really want to do, and see anywhere from a 16-year-old young man to actually a 93-year-old gentleman in Illinois, where they have tears on their coming down their face when they're able to get back into their machines and feel good about themselves and provide for their families. There's a few other companies that do make some type of lift systems. Ours are adapted to each specific type of equipment. So we can do skid steer loaders, logging skidders, construction equipment, farm equipment, semi-trucks, RVs, home lifts. We will do just about anything to help a person get back into doing what they want to do. Give them a quality of life.
Well, that's incredible. You had a lot of vendors there. Was there something that stood out to you, something maybe new to the market?
Well, we were just barely listening to Bill Begley from Life Essentials, and he brought with him a couple different mobility devices, powered wheelchairs. One that was developed and built by the company's owner, who himself is in the chair, 365, and but they also have the Action Track chair, and this is a chair that is aimed at working outdoors. It's on tracks, like a crawler tractor, and it also allows them to stand up. Something so important for somebody that is bound to a wheelchair. Sitting all the time is not the way we were designed to work. So that if we can get them into a device that they can actually stand, get some pressures up, get the pressures off from them from sitting all the time, that's very, very healthy for them.
Now, Rebecca mentioned that while she was at the field days that there were a number of veterans in attendance. What can AgrAbility offer for the veterans?
Well, veterans, that we've found so many of the returning veterans coming back from overseas. One of the things we hear all the time from them when we're talking with them is there's nothing like getting your hands in the soil. So therapeutic to be able to work with their land, grow things, and it's so important to get them back, connected with. Get their feet on the ground, very physically and literally. And they said, they shared stories about how they had come back from the East, and this was what got them back into feeling as though they had a mission back here at home.
And so you visit farms. What's involved when you go to a farm? Well,
we have our staff that goes out, and if we have a call, someone says, there's a situation that has occurred, we find out as much about them, the background of what the situation is, take a look with them at alternatives, at ways of adjusting home life, work life, procedures that we've always used on the farm, and sometimes it's a matter of helping them to find other information from other sources. Sometimes it's a matter of modifying equipment or tools that are there on the farm, but we go out to the farm so that we can get a first-hand look and figure out with them what's going to work for them. And that's key, is what's going to work for you.
If somebody wants to find out more about AgrAbility, what should they do?
they should contact my office in Morrisville. We are the head of the program right there in Morrisville. We'll pass information on. Our 800 number, 866-260-5603, is a toll-free number that can be accessed anywhere across the state.
And you want to hear from people who have aches and pains too.
Absolutely. You know, don't consider, well, gee, my problem isn't severe enough to warrant some assistance, because let us make that decision.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Judy.
That's our program for today. I'm Judy Simpson. We'll see you again next time on Across the Fence.